What's going on, guys? I'm back, and it's time to look at the final stage, the playoff stage of the ESL Pro League Season 17. Now, one thing I want to touch on real quick is Group D. Oh my god, Group D, it did not go so well. I said Na'Vi, I said Liquid, I said Ents, and then Astralis or Spirit. It went horribly wrong. Forza came through, who I said would maybe just be an upset team, and that was about it. Well, they did more than upset. They rolled all the way through, and they've booked themselves a more than impressive quarterfinal slot. They went first place in the group. Na'Vi just about made it through. It was very confusing. It was craziness from start to finish. Astralis and Spirit fluffed it. I thought Spirit, with all this experience, 2 times going to the major, Astralis starting to look better, would have a chance. But it did not work out. Liquid did book the spot as well, which was a bit of a rough way for them. But overall, that puts me 12 out of 16 on predictions for who made it through to playoffs. And with this format change, with everything that's been going on at EPL, 16 teams in playoff, I'm going to give you my predictions and thoughts on all of it. We're going to make it a quick and concise video because I need to pack up everything behind me here in Kiev. I need to leave as soon as possible, but it's been emotional. It's been crazy. I've been back. You'll see some more content across that. Just check out Twitter, Banks Esports, Instagram, Banks Esports, and have a look at all that. Now, let me just talk about EPL overall. Great production. Much more relaxed event. It's not looking to be a crazy top tier event. Your Katowices, your Colognes, your Blast, finals and world finals. It is giving a bit of fun for the talent to have because it's a big, long 5-week event. Having commentators in turn from the player side of things come in and help them out and check it out. Dude, it was amazing. I've enjoyed it so much. Hopefully I'll be involved in the next one myself. But before we get further into the video, guys, like this video. Comment below what you're enjoying about these videos as I'm rolling out more and more. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button for me as well. That would be appreciated. Now, the playoffs. I'm going to go through my predictions on how I expect all of it to go. I'm going to start with the round of 16. So first matchups, Na'Vi versus 00 Nation. That should be Na'Vi getting a 2-0. Na'Vi have looked shaky. Their Inferno, that was the really go-to pick. More position changes, more styles of play changes as well. So maybe they drop that potentially, but overall, I think it should be a 2-0 for Na'Vi. It should be rolling on through. Then we've got Furia taking on Fnatic. Now, Fnatic did have some good moments, so they have been looking better, but Furia have come back into EPL in a good way. Now, they did obviously come through only just about making it in terms of the group stage, but right now, I just put Furia far ahead of them. I wouldn't say, this is probably one of the ones where it's like a 60-40. I'm playing 60% Furia, 40% to Fnatic. Fnatic have these moments where we see greatness from them. But more time than not, I look at it and think, I'm not too sure what you're going to do. Because Fasher, he's quoted himself. He's had some of these games where he's just not been there. He's been missing out for the team. Mezzi, I think, has been doing a great job calling. But, like, they're just lacking some of these superstar performances they sometimes need. And when I look at Furia, you can definitely see them pulled out the bag. Like, Safe right now has been hitting up tremendous numbers. Better than we would have expected. So, I'm expecting Furia to then go forward. Then you've got Pain taking on Liquid. Pain did fantastic to get to where they did in the first place. Liquid, they were struggling. They made it through in last place through the last chance qualifier. But Liquid, when they hit playoff form, Dikinda spoke in the interview about how they've been using practice as a really waste of time because of how they were doing it between NA and Europe and time they need with families and all this travel and stuff. Well, guess what? They've had more games than anyone. They've been able to have the time to warm their way up into it. So I expect them to cruise past and make it through to the round of 12. And then G2 versus Movistar. G2 versus Movistar. Movistar, good luck. This is a G2 where, okay, their focus is definitely on the major, you know, and the RMR. But for G2, even with that being the case, they had to qualify for the RMR. They've had more time off as well. They were in the very first group. Don't forget that. This should be G2 just going bomb, bang, smashing through and getting a 2-0. Then coming on to our round of 12. So we're going through exactly what I thought. If you look at this lovely graphic, exactly how I'm expecting it to go. Then I expect Outsiders to be taking on Na'Vi. We know how that goes time and time again. Even if it's a studio environment and not on the stage, I can't see Outsiders being able to mess with this Na'Vi, even with the map pool, even with what we're looking at here. Because Na'Vi, when they hit playoff stages, Na'Vi, when they hit Outsiders, they hit hard. Now, Outsiders is still a very good team. I'm seeing Chiron be a positive player throughout. James, you can always rely on him. But it's when these guys have the matchup, even just looking back at Katowice, it becomes long. It becomes very close. And it could potentially go either way. But Na'Vi have that extra oomph that they can pull it out the bag. And Symbol has been performing better. You guys criticize him over and over again. But that man right behind me has been doing his thing. So I expect them to cruise on forward to the quarterfinals. Then we should have FaZe versus Furia in my eyes. Sadly, Furia, yes, you have these moments where we're seeing this better look come out, but FaZe Clan, they want to grab that Intel Grand Slam, and that means they need to win ESL Pro League and get an extra $1 million on top of the prize money. So I expect FaZe Clan to come through and slam it up. Now, FaZe Clan's still definitely not in their peak form, maybe not even a team I picked to win the whole thing. We'll come to that in a little bit. Then I expect Mouse versus Liquid. And on this one, Mouse, I enjoy so many good moments from them. It's on a stage game, but they have now had stage experience, so you can't even use that. They are still the young team coming in. But you're going up against, like I said, the powered up Liquid as they go through these playoff stages. And Yakinda also performing well. We spoke about him not doing so good at Katowice. So I'm expecting Liquid to take down Mouse. But then we come to ENCE versus G2. Now, ENCE looks great in the group stage. But it was an easier group stage for how it went from. You look at the teams they faced in there. You know, it was ENCE kind of showing that even with Nertz coming in, and he had some great games. Oh, Nertz was impressive. I don't expect it to be super hard and super heavy hitting from ENCE. I maybe think they can take a map from G2, especially with Inferno being out the way there as well. But yeah, I expect G2 to come through. It maybe not be a 2-0, potentially a 2-1, but them go forward. Now we come to our quarterfinal games following my magic graphic. I expect Heroic to be taking on Na'Vi. And as much as I love Na'Vi, as much as I always believe in the Na'Vi nation, Heroic have just been better. Heroic are the much more consistent team. Heroic have showed that they can do position changes and not disrupt themselves in the way that when these things happen for Na'Vi, it becomes a problem for them. So I'm expecting Heroic to take down and eliminate Na'Vi in the quarters, which is sad for me to say, but it is just the reality of what I think is going to happen within this game. Then we've got Forza going up against FaZe. Now, Forza, they've showed great strength. If they could take down FaZe, and there is, by the way, this is not one where I'm going, yes, 100% I'm confident that you should be predicting FaZe beat Forza, because Forza would have sat in this quarterfinals game, been able to watch everything. FaZe Clan would have got a few more games under their belt. But I feel like the motivation to do well and to beat a team like Forza, FaZe will just come through and smash it out. Now, there's a caveat to have here because Jerry has been the guy, first of all, that I said I wanted to see on Na'Vi be the IGL. He has been dominating. He has been having amazing games where he can basically save his team and allow the others to do what they need to do best. I see this being a 2-1. I'll say 60% of me thinks that it's going to be FaZe, and 40% of me thinks it's going to be Forza. This one's tough. Maybe some of you guys got a different opinion on this. Maybe you think Forza will take down FaZe in the quarters, but I'm imagining FaZe level up on through. They take down Forza, and they get to the semifinals against Heroic. Then coming on to Cloud9 versus Liquid. Shiro and Axel have been on their A game. They have been looking so great. Even Hobbit's been up there as well again. This is the Cloud9 that we've wanted to see for quite some time that hasn't been showing up. So I believe that even with Liquid being in their best form, Cloud9 now just look like a team that almost feel like they could be set for a grand final, depending on who they match up against. Liquid would have to bring a level we haven't seen even when they've hit the big stages, even when they've hit their groove, even when NAF's been firing off on all cylinders. So I think Cloud9 will win it and go through to the semis. Then our last quarterfinal game is Vitality taking on G2. But remember, Vitality have Dupree back, and he just had the birth of his child. It's fantastic. But Jax was so good, and he brought a different element, a lot of positivity to this team. And there's a lot of people out there right now who are saying, we didn't know this was happening. No, this was always said. If you looked at the communication from Vitality, it was always said that Jax would just be in for the group stage to give Dupree some time at home, which is very nice. It's what he needs. But that we're going up against G2, the best team in the world right now. And Vitality, for me, I think would be better with Jax. I personally just think that Jax brought this great attitude, this great understanding of how they were using Jax. And Dupree's numbers were not good even before his child's birth. And you may think, oh, well, don't go too harsh on him. His child's just come. Yes, but that's fine. But you're playing the game. He's got to play to an ultimate level. I don't think he's going to play better coming back from this. Maybe there's some way you go, he'll get extra motivation because he's had a child. I can kind of mess with that idea. But ultimately, I think G2 will end Vitality's run here. And that'll be it. It'll be going into the quarterfinals, end for Vitality, and a semi-final spot for G2. Now moving on to our semi-finals, though. Starting with the first game, Heroic versus FaZe. Now, FaZe, they want this Intel Grand Slam. I believe they will have a chance of getting it. But this is Heroic, and a Heroic that I believe in so much right now. They've been consistently second place, consistently looking to get themselves a title over and over again. They did obviously get it back at the full final in Copenhagen in front of their crowd, was an amazing thing. And FaZe, This is a team that is no longer unbeatable. This is a team that's not been figured out, but they are running dry a bit, you know. Something's just not connecting for them when they needed it to. I expect this to be a 2-1. I expect this to be a close game, but I expect Heroic to be marching forward and being our first team in the grand final. Actually, I can't say first team in the grand final because you don't know which game we played first on the day, but you know, I expect them to be in the grand final. Last but not least, this sets up our semi-finals for Cloud9 going up against G2. Now, you got to remember with this, Cloud9 are not a blast team, G2 are. Cloud9 need an EPL win to look better, to feel better, to be in a confident position. G2, they're on top of the world. EPL's not a big, huge, like, yes, we want that for these guys. I expect this to be an insane game. I expect this to be one that we start talking about as almost a grand final level worthy game. But I do expect G2 to still take it. I know Cloud9 have a chance. I would say this one is 100% 55-45 in G2's favour. Because G2 could let this one slip for them depending on how much they wanted. You see how you would expect m0NESY versus Shiro. And you look at the stats, you look at it and you put all the numbers together. You go, oh, but Cloud9 have some of the highest rated players. Yeah, okay, sure they do. But I think G2 have the better overall players. You push Hooksy to the side a little bit, but still, they believe in him. I feel like the hard hitting will come a lot better from G2's side on this. I think the map pool will also work out in G2's favour here. And I think G2 will be in the grand final. Now for the grand final, and guys, if you follow my predictions, maybe you want to follow the way I'm going with this. Take a look at GGBet. Use code BANKS. Bet responsibly if you are over 18 as well. You get a bonus if you use my code, and that's for new and existing customers. So if you are a betting person, then have a look over at GGBet. Supporting them does help support me, and they are helping put out all this extra content. So with look at my grand scheme, this is my plan, this is what I think is going to happen here. Grand final should be Heroic going up against G2. Now, we had this matchup before. It was a best of 5 when it comes to Katowice. And I do think Heroic might be able to get a map here, but I ultimately think that G2 will win. I think this time, though, it'll be a 3-2. I think a 3-2 is going to be very respectable. It's in a studio environment. I feel like Heroic don't have a chance in this because just in how confident G2 show themselves against a team like Heroic and how it works for them, it's the way that G2 can disrupt a team like Heroic, who can affect their mentality, who can come in and throw them off the balance, that even their communication and even their high-level play of being this tight-knit team doesn't work out for them. So, ultimately, I'm a big fan of G2 getting another win here. If you'd looked at the group stage, and you'd probably say, no, there's no way G2 doing it. But I would say that it still seems like G2 are the best team in the world. It seems like Heroic are too, and everyone else is floating in the middle and trying to clamber together and say, what can we do here? But that's my thoughts when it comes to the playoff stages. I hope you've enjoyed another video. I hope you enjoyed another preview and prediction video from myself. Remember, I'm checking out all the comments down below. I'm replying to you guys. I'm letting you guys know what you want to hear, what you want to see, what you want to think. So you guys tell me as well, and I'll keep improving these videos. Goodbye from Kiev for now. Next videos will be coming out from London. I'll see you guys soon.